It's officially WrestleMania week, and this will be one of the last two videos I make before I leave for Las Vegas, as I will be filming a ton of content in Las Vegas during WrestleMania week. I'm talking vlogs, prediction video. I will film that right outside of Allegiant Stadium, and I will be filming in different locations across Las Vegas to try to make as cool content as possible in the lead up to WrestleMania 42. So if you like wrestling, go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button if you want to keep up with what I'm doing in Las Vegas. And hey, I do make wrestling content every week here at Ringside Cinema. So go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button today. So let's get to today's video. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I am Mike, and this is Ringside Cinema. And boy, oh boy, did the WWE decide to double down on the Pat McAfee involvement in the Cody Rhodes Randy Orton storyline. And not only that, we now have Jelly Roll being involved in this entire storyline, but being on Cody's side. Jelly Roll got into the face of Pat McAfee and is basically the, like, I'm trying to figure out, is Jelly Roll supposed to be like us, the fans, right? Because Jelly Roll telling Pat McAfee, hey, you have nothing to do with this, you shouldn't be here. This is between Cody and Randy, 20 years of history. That's all the things that we, the fans, have been saying about this feud. So is Jelly Roll supposed to be like the voice of the fans, the voice of the fans, so to speak, in this, where he's kind of taking the fan side of it, and the WWE is like, hey, we see all these people that are angry about Pat McAfee being involved. Let's take that and use that and have Jelly Roll say all these things to make him look like a good guy in this whole scenario, and people will forget that he is also a celebrity. Now, I will say this: the fact that WWE has put Pat McAfee on the official Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton t-shirt for WrestleMania, I mean, that's tripling down on this entire freaking thing. I mean, just look at this t-shirt here. This is the official match t-shirt for Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton. Every year they release these t-shirts for WrestleMania, where like you can buy match-specific t-shirts, and Pat McAfee being mm, and Pat McAfee being right there on the t-shirt is absolutely insane. I mean, I guess they're gonna have to go back and remake that t-shirt to add Jelly Roll to that t-shirt next to Cody Rhodes, right? And you know what? You know what Pat McAfee trying to be a heel reminds me of? Heel Michael Cole. You guys, we all remember, for those of us that sat through Raw commentary for however many years it was, I think it was like a year, 2 years, where Michael Cole as a heel was like forced upon us. And heel Michael Cole was just saying all these things that felt unnatural. It didn't feel like real. It like ruined the show for us, the viewers, because of how forced it was. And that's what Pat McAfee's heel turn is. And in the year 2026, we should not be comparing anybody, any commentator, to heel Michael Cole from 2010, 2011, okay? So the fact that Pat McAfee, being a heel, he's being forced into this role, and he's just trying so hard. He's trying too hard, let alone trying too hard to be somebody he's not. Because if you look at his render, he's trying to do the people's eyebrow. The dude thinks he's The Rock. I mean, trying way too hard here. And clearly, they're doing something with WWE versus TKO because Pat McAfee went out there and was like telling Cody Rhodes, hey, you're kissing up to Triple H. CM Punk, you apologize to Saudi Arabia. Like, like it really does feel like they're setting up some kind of team TKO versus team WWE like storyline, and I know a lot of people have talked about that, but why on earth would TKO, who owns WWE, be fighting within itself, right? Like you're fighting yourself. As I record this video on Sunday, April 12th, let's not forget that WrestleMania Night 2 would have taken place tonight in New Orleans if they didn't move it from New Orleans to Las Vegas. So WrestleMania would have already been there. I would have been spending a week in New Orleans already. But here we are going back to Las Vegas, 1 week away. There's still plenty of discounts out there trying to move tickets. It is absolutely insane how hard the WWE lost on this gamble going back to Vegas. Truthfully, in my opinion, I think when you look at this card, they would have sold more tickets in New Orleans for both nights, and I think you would have had a lot more turnout in New Orleans than you would have in Las Vegas. That is just my opinion. So let's talk about this whole WWE versus TKO thing, right? Because that's seemingly what they're talking about, or at least they're planning, at least from the promos that they're doing. But what's interesting is that when SmackDown started, Nick Aldis told Cody Rhodes and Jelly Roll, because we need more celebrities apparently, that nobody can touch Pat McAfee, and that is word from above him. Now, technically, I just expect this to be something as, hey, nobody can touch Pat McAfee, whatever, and we don't get a big reveal of the mastermind behind all this, right? You know, because I don't expect Ari Emanuel, who rumored is that he's been heavily involved in this whole entire thing, interjecting Pat McAfee. You know, and that's seemingly the other thing too, is not only is it, oh well, someone wants to keep Pat McAfee from being hurt, you know, from being touched and being attacked, but it's what Cody said to him where, who sent you? So they seemingly keep implying that there's a bigger figure, a higher power above Pat McAfee and above Triple H that is sending Pat McAfee to be in the corner of Randy Orton. Now, obviously, as I talked about, everything online points to Ari Emanuel. Ari Emanuel is the agent for Pat McAfee. Coincidentally, Travis Scott, is also one of his clients. And we all remember Travis Scott's involvement last year. So Ari Emanuel is just free willingly giving his clients free access to the main event of WrestleMania and to be involved in it. Like you don't think that there's any interest in that, right? I mean, you know, sending your clients, you know, interjecting your clients into storylines they don't belong in. You don't think he doesn't have personal interests in that? But again, the number one thing that people keep going back to is The Rock, right? Is The Rock the higher power that is sending Pat McAfee from the on screen storyline perspective, right? Because obviously a lot of people expect, even though the WWE has toned down the Usos' involvement in the CM Punk Roman Reigns build-up, there is still that kind of chance of a potential bloodline reunion or The Rock showing up on night 2 to set up a match with Roman Reigns at next year's WrestleMania. And that is the match where I think where The Rock would get involved is CM Punk and Roman Reigns. But would he get involved here? Again, because we do know they've teased the hell out of this for like 2 years. Going back to that really weird promo where The Rock and Cody on the Raw after WrestleMania 40 exchanged title belts. And The Rock said he was coming back for Cody, and then, as if those two were going to have a match. So, The Rock, who is on the board of TKO, who would ideally fit that higher power, that would be sending Pat McAfee to the WWE, that fits the whole TKO versus WWE thing where Cody and CM Punk are fighting The Rock. The Rock being on the board, which, again, let's remember this, okay? TKO has complete control over WWE. So Triple H, even though there are some faults within creative, okay, that we can sit here and blame Triple H on, at the same time, Triple H has to answer the TKO. And if TKO tells Triple H, say, hey, I want Pat McAfee involved, I think he's going to move more tickets. You got to put him in. You got to find a way to interject him into this storyline, right? So Triple H kind of has his hands tied. So not everything is on Triple H. Clearly, there is something going on behind the scenes that probably we'll see on WWE Unreal. But it's one of those things where it does seem there's a power struggle going on between WWE Creative, Triple H, and Ari Emanuel and TKO. I don't know how much The Rock is involved as a board of director, but we do have to think The Rock does maybe pitch some ideas. Maybe The Rock is still in contact with Triple H every once in a while about storylines, and because he is a board member, so he has vested interest in the WWE product doing well. But again, back to the on-screen perspective, this does seem to me like we could be setting up for the return of The Rock being the guy on screen that is going to be the face of TKO in all of this. Now, how all this goes, I don't know. But all I do know is, as I said in last week's video, if this is going to be the road to WrestleMania every year under TKO, where they're going to be mad that we're not taking out loans for tickets and buying the very expensive tickets, and their reasoning and their answer is to stick a celebrity into a feud, then the road to WrestleMania is going to suck every year if TKO plans to stick their nose in creative. Because again, who knows what Triple H and creative might have had planned. Maybe they planned it to be someone else, but TKO said, hey, we got to sell tickets, make it Pat McAfee. We don't know. But, again, unfortunately, WWE has doubled down on Pat McAfee's involvement. It does seem as if he's going to be in the corner of Randy Orton at WrestleMania. And, I mean, The dude was wearing the WWE Championship. Like, shouldn't Randy Orton be wearing the WWE Championship? Like, what are we doing here, WWE? Like, why is Pat holding the championship and not Randy? That just to me seems stupid. I mean, you're basically making Randy Orton a third wheel and basically a fourth wheel if The Rock gets involved. So Randy Orton is kind of being a third wheel in his own storyline, which is absolutely insane to think that would be a possibility. But clearly, the WWE, I mean, just hey, Randy, you're going to be winning number 15, but we got to interject Pat McAfee here. And yeah, in the build up, Pat McAfee is going to hold the championship. Nothing about this makes any sense, but I thought it was interesting the way they followed up with it. Pat McAfee taking shots at CM Punk. Clearly, it seems like they're setting up some TKO versus WWE storyline potentially here, and maybe there's some stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. So, yeah, let me know in the comments below, guys. Uh, how did you feel about the follow up to Pat McAfee's involvement in this storyline? How everything went down, the way he was plugging WrestleMania ticket discounts, acting as if he's the hero. He was making fun of us for being poor, which you probably shouldn't be making fun of your fan base, by the way, for being poor, because that's not a good look. Like, I'm sorry, but that's just not a good look. You know, oh, you can't afford WrestleMania tickets, so I'm giving you guys a 25% off. You know, my friends at Ram are giving you guys 25% off. Like, what the hell are we doing here? You know, it's like absolutely crazy. At this point, I think it's probably possible that we get the match between Cody and Jelly Roll versus Pat and Randy at Backlash Tampa. And if you go back to last year, this is mimicking John Cena's heel turn step by step by step. So let me know in the comments below, guys. I got one more video to make for Monday before I leave for Vegas. So let me know in the comments below. What do you guys think of Pat McAfee's involvement? What do you want to see happen at WrestleMania? And as always, I've been your host, Mike, and you've been watching Ringside Cinema.